pencil, and I I added the I, like I squished it like in between the N and the A. I added the I and then I marked it correct with my red pen. Hey guys, it's Daniela, and in this Break Time with Daniela video, I'm going to be telling you guys how I got caught cheating. And when I say cheating, I mean that I cheated on a test. So yeah, and before we start this video, I just wanted to say that I'm not that person who always cheats on tests. This was a one-time thing, and this happened years ago, and I'm over it now. Like I do still kind of like regret it, because cheating is not a good thing to do, but back then, like right after it happened, I like really regretted it, and since it happened years ago, I got over it. So I'm not as like regretful, not like, I'm not overthinking it, or I'm not sure if that's the right word. I'm not like, you know, stressed like about it like anymore, because I got over it. This happened not like many years ago, but it happened a long time ago. And so now I look back on it, and I look back on it and I think that was a really stupid thing to do, and I should not have ever done that. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so this happened back in 5th grade, so it happened almost 3 years ago. And I'm in 8th grade now, so I was in 5th grade 3 years ago, and this happened almost 3 years ago. So yeah, happened just a little bit less than 3 years ago. I don't remember the exact date it happened on, but I do remember that it happened close to the end of the school year. So yeah. Seriously, Daniela, why do you keep repeating everything and over-explaining things? I mean, we get it that it happened almost 3 years ago. And also, by the way, be prepared for the longest Break Time with Daniela video ever. It's so long. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling on. And yeah, okay. On with the actual story. Oh my wowzers, Daniela. Why are you over-explaining everything? Okay, let's actually get started. Okay, so back in elementary school, we would have a spelling test every single week, like literally every week. So yeah, we would have spelling tests, and for me, spelling has always been really easy. I don't know why, but it was like, I don't know, like, I still haven't been able to figure out like how it's like, why it's always like, why it comes like naturally to me, but I guess it's just one of those like talents that I have. Like like spelling has always been really easy for me, and so spelling tests, like I would always do really well on them, and I would always get 100s. Like that was my usual grade on a spelling test. So this one time, since it was like nearing the end of the school year, we did something different with our spelling tests. Instead of spelling like common nouns and whatnot, like just like common words and stuff, we had to spell like the states and capitals and whatnot, and those are like harder to spell because, like, you know, they're like names of places and whatnot, and they're just like a little bit harder to spell. And so yeah, and not only that, but also part of the test was also like matching the state with the capital and whatnot, but that part is not relevant to the story. So yeah, okay, so even though it was like a tad bit harder than just like the normal spelling test, it was still like not too hard for me. Like I knew how to spell most of those states and capitals anyways. However, there was one capital, I don't remember what it was, but I would tell you if I remembered, but unfortunately I don't remember. So yeah, I think it started with a T though. So yeah, but don't count on it. But there was this one capital that I had trouble spelling, and I had trouble spelling it, and yeah, and there was also another state that I misspelled, and I actually knew how to spell it, but when we went back and graded our tests, I realized that I had misspelled it. I don't know, I guess it was just a writing error. But that state was Virginia, which I knew how to spell. Like, I knew how to spell it, but for some reason I misspelled it just because, like, kind of like a typo, except I wasn't typing, I was writing, like writing by hand. So yeah, but anyways, okay, so I ended up getting 2 words wrong. One of them was Virginia, which I knew how to spell, and the other one was that capital, which I don't remember what it was, and I had trouble spelling it. Okay, so yeah, so basically with spelling tests, sometimes we would like grade them in class, like the teacher would like call out like she would ask you, or she or he, in my case she would ask you to get a pencil out, or not a pencil, what am I thinking? Daniela, nice job Daniela. A red pen out. You would have to get a red pen out, and you would grade your test, and the teacher would read tell you the correct answer, and you would have to mark it right or wrong. And yeah, okay, and the reason why we had to use a red pen, well, you'll find out later in the story. So yeah, so I got out my red pen, and I have my pencil with me. And by the way, I'm just going to tell you now, the reason why we had to use a red pen and not a pencil to grade our tests, I don't think it had to be red, it just had to be like a pen or something that didn't erase, that like you couldn't erase with. But the reason why it had to be that was to prevent cheating. And hint hint, this was actually the way I cheated. The way I cheated was not just the classic like look at someone else's paper. Like, no, I did not do that. I actually cheated in a different way. And so basically, the reason why you had to use a pen instead of a pencil when when grading your tests was because they didn't want you going back with your pencil, erasing the answer, and like putting the correct answer. Hint, that's exactly what I did. So yeah. So we got to the, so basically we were just grading our tests, and I marked the ones correct that I got right, and then, okay, we went to like the first one that I got wrong, which I believe the first one that I got wrong was Virginia. So yeah, and I realized that I missed the second I. For some reason I did not put it there. I knew it had to be in there, the second I between the N and the A, but I don't know why. It was like an error, like it was a mistake. I don't know, like a right O, I guess. A typographical error, but in like writing by hand instead of typing. Anyway, so what I did, okay, so I graded with I had my red pen out, like I was like marking the answers correct with my red pen, but I also happened to have my pencil sitting on my desk. Well, not like sitting, but you know what I mean. My pencil just so happened to be on my desk, and so I took my pencil and I added the I, like I squished it like in between the N and the A. I added the I, and then I marked it correct with my red pen. And yeah, and that time I did not get caught. However, when we got to the other capital, or the capital that I spelled wrong, I did that again. I changed the answer to the correct answer with my pencil, and I marked it correct. And this time it was like that word was closer to the end of the test, so I think I don't remember exactly like where, like whether it was like the second to last one or the last one or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was somewhere closer to the end of the test. And so that's partly the reason why I got caught. So I was just doing my thing, marking the answer correct even though I actually got it wrong. And then I guess like since we had just finished grading the test, because I guess I don't remember, but I guess I was still like doing my thing while like I was still like doing that, and then like when we were finished grading, and so everyone was like putting their like stuff away, like yeah, and then the student teacher walks by, because we had like we had like a student teacher come in and just help out, I guess. So she walks by, and she was the one who caught me. And she walks by, and she walks by me as I'm still correcting my answer. She walks by me, and then she's like, "Did I see something?" Or like she was like asking me, like, just casually, like she was asking me like if she saw me do anything. And the way I heard that, like the way she asked, and at least the way I interpreted it, like was kind of like jokingly, like she probably like wasn't being serious or anything. But I was wrong. Hint, hint. I was wrong, because it did end up turning into like a more serious thing. But so I just played it off casually. I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I just casually like played it off. Like I responded back to her like something like, I don't know, I don't even remember what I said, but I just casually played it off. And then she said, "I'm gonna tell your teacher that you were doing something." I don't even remember exactly, because this happened like almost 3 years ago, so I don't remember the exact detail, like the exact detailed words that, like, I don't remember. But yeah, so she was like, "I'm gonna tell your teacher," and then I got scared because I was gonna get caught and my teacher was gonna find out, and I was so scared because I thought I was gonna like, I thought I was gonna have to go through some serious punishment, like, I don't know. But yeah, so then a few minutes later, my teacher calls me out. She says, like, "Daniela, can you come out in the hallway to like talk?" And she also said, "Oh, and bring your PDF sheet." And basically, if you don't know what a PDF sheet is, basically it was this thing that we did in 5th grade, and it was this sheet that you got. And PDF stood for personal development sheet, by the way, if you're wondering. So basically it was this sheet that you got, and on it was like different scenarios of like things that like you weren't allowed to do, like, and it was like things that you could get in trouble for doing. So yeah, and like stuff like cheating on tests or like forging signatures or something, like stuff like that was like listed on the sheet. And by each by each thing there was 5 little dashes. And basically if you broke a rule, but if you did one of those things on the PDF sheet, or if there was something else that you did that got you in trouble that wasn't listed on there, like the teacher would just add it on there. And yeah, so basically if you did one of those things on the PDF sheet, the teacher would ask you to bring your PDF sheet over and proceed to put their signature, or like not signature, but like their initials on the corresponding dash. And the dashes basically corresponded to the day of the week. There were 5 dashes, and there's 5 days, like you go to school 5 days a week. So yeah, so they would basically have to put their initials on the dash that corresponded to what day of the week or like what day you did this on. And then every weekend you would have to get it signed by your parents and bring it back to school the next day, or like, yeah. So she asked me to bring my PDF sheet out, and I knew right away, I immediately knew that this was going to be this was going to be about what I had just done to my spelling test. And so she asked me to bring my PDF sheet out, and so I bring it out, and I know exactly what we're about to talk about. And she gives me like a lecture about like how cheating on tests is unacceptable and whatnot. And since basically I was in 5th grade, I started middle school in 6th grade, so I was going to start middle school the next year. On top of that, it was also close to the end of the school year, so I would be starting 6th grade. I was starting middle school in like 3 months or whatever. So yeah, that was like 3 months or something along those lines before I started middle school. And so she said if this happened in middle school, I would get like a 0 and whatnot, and I would get in trouble. And yeah, and then so I learned my lesson. And by the way, I actually ended up getting the grade I was supposed to get. Like, I missed those 2 questions, and I think my grade was like a 90 something, like my grade on my spelling test, which I know you're thinking, Daniela, why, if you only missed 2, why would you cheat? Like 90, like a grade in like the 90s is not a failing grade. So I know that is a good grade, and it's like, why would you want to cheat? Like, why would you be disappointed with a 90 or something? And it's just that for spelling tests, I was used to getting hundreds, and so I just did not want to break that streak. So I wanted to get 100, and yeah, 90 is still like a good grade, or like, yeah, it's still a really good grade. So yeah, and I'm not like, I'm not that person that's like, oh, I got a 97 and I'm like so disappointed. Like, no, I'm not that person. Normally I would be happy with like a 97 or a 95 or anything. Anyways, so I ended up getting the grade I was supposed to get, and I was so lucky that I did not get a 0 because that was such a close call. Okay, so she said, but my teacher basically said that if this happened in middle school, then I would get a 0, no questions asked. And by the way, I've not cheated on any tests since then, so just in case you were wondering. So yeah, I definitely did learn my lesson, and yeah. Okay, so in elementary school, I also had an after-school care that I would go to because my parents were still at work by the time by the time school was dismissed. My parents were still at work, like both of my parents were still at work. So I would go to this after-school care until my parents got out of work and were able to pick me up. So I went to after-school care, and I spent that time, like, I regretted what I did. Like, I regretted it so much. Like, I even like started to like cry a little bit because I just regretted it so much. And also, I don't remember exactly, but I think while me and my teacher were out there while my teacher was like lecturing me, I think I started to cry because I don't remember exactly if I did or not, but I just regretted it so much, and I just it was hard like not to cry over it. And I spent that time in the after school care thing thinking about exactly how I would explain this to my parents, like what I was gonna say exactly, because I wanted to say it in a way that like I just didn't want to say it the wrong way. I wanted to say it I just thought about exactly what I was gonna say to my dad when he picked me up. That was so my plan. So basically, I know you're all thinking, Daniela, why didn't you just hide this from your parents? Okay, the reason why I didn't hide it from my parents was because they were gonna find out anyway when they came to sign my PDS sheet. So yeah, and no, I was not gonna forge their signature because no, I don't do that. So basically I was not gonna like forge their signature on the PDS sheet so that they wouldn't have to see it. Like, no, I was not gonna do that. They were gonna find out some way. Like, I knew it. Like, yeah, and I wasn't gonna keep it from them. Like, I was just gonna tell them anyway because I didn't want them to see that on my PDS sheet and be like, Daniela, why didn't you tell me you cheated on tests? Like, no, I'm not gonna. Okay, so basically, my plan was just to get it off my chest and tell my dad about it when he came to pick me up. So I thought about exactly what I was gonna say, and I was like crying too, not crying like loudly and hysterically, but just like I was tearing up, you know, like I wasn't crying like loudly because I just didn't want people to know that I was crying. Like, I just literally spent that day in after school care just sitting like by myself, like not really wanting to talk to anyone because I didn't want people to know that I was crying. And yeah, I was like tearing up, and then my dad came to pick me up finally, and before I lost my nerve, I told him, I think these were, I said something along the lines of, I kind of have to tell you something. On my spelling test, I changed the answers while we were grading the test. I said something along the lines of that. And so surprisingly, well, I thought this was kind of surprising at first, like back then. But surprisingly, I did not get like punished. I just told my dad, and he was a little bit disappointed. And I told my mom about it, and she was like a little bit disappointed, but I didn't really get in much trouble after that. And at first I was surprised like that I didn't get like privileges taken away. But now I think the reason why is because it was just a one-time thing, and I would probably have gotten my privileges taken away if it was like something that kept happening. Like if I kept on cheating on tests, I would probably like be punished. But it was a one-time thing, and my parents knew that I really did regret it. I really and truly did regret it, and yeah, and I still think about it sometimes, but I'm not like overwhelmed thinking about it. Like I got over it. But it's just something I look back on. It's something that happened in my past, and like we're all over it now, and I have not cheated on any tests since that day. I have not done that anymore because I really did learn my lesson, and yeah. And so I was kind of relieved that I didn't get like punished like really badly. Like the worst that happened was just my parents were a little bit disappointed in me, and like after that like we just really like let it go after that. Like yeah, there was like no more mention after that about it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this really long story. I know I talked for so long. This is like a really long video, but I hope you enjoyed this detailed story. I tried to tell it in as much detail as I could, and it turned out really long. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and that's pretty much it. And I will see you guys. Oh, by the way, before I do that, I just want you guys to comment down below. Have you ever cheated on any tests or anything? Like, just comment down below your cheating on test story. Like any stories that you have for me about it, like that you want me to know, just comment those, because I'm just curious to find out. Editing this video, and I just wanted to say that my camera was being really weird while I filmed it at this point, and it just decided to like start over, if you will, on recording, and I lost a small portion of the footage. Luckily I didn't actually lose part of the story, but basically what I was saying in the footage that I lost, just comment down below your test cheating stories, like any stories that you have about cheating on tests that you want me to know. And yeah, and before this gets too long, let's just continue on with the actual video. Okay, bye. Stories are, so comment those down below because I'm just really curious to know. And that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys, the subscribers and viewers, in my next video. Peace out, y'all. Woo!